Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the WGLNA Season 1 Gold League. I'm your host, Christian Toma. To my left, that's right, it's David Williams. Make sure to check us out on Facebook and YouTube, /WGLNA. And as always, follow us on Twitter, @WGLNA, so you guys can stay up to date what's happening in the community around you.
Also, be sure to check out battleviewer.com if you haven't already. It's easy to check out match listings, match standings, YouTube, Twitter, all easily accessible through that interface there. And in case you don't know this, if you click that fantasy button in the bottom right, you don't lose the stream. It just moves up to the top corner. So as we've said before, everything is better on battleviewer.com.
That is right. Speaking of fantasy, this is how it works. If you guys aren't familiar, at the beginning of the night before the first match starts, you guys get to pick 7 players that are going to play on your fantasy team. As they play throughout the night, they're going to accumulate points for you guys. Points equal tons of prizes, such as in-game gold, in-game premium time, and even in-game premium tanks that you can't get anywhere else, like the Hype 59. So that's right, guys. Click that button at the bottom right and get started. And while you're doing that, let's watch this video. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Again, check that out on battleviewer.com. Now, David, tonight we have some fantastic matchups, but I was most excited to see our last one, Noble and Simp, so I doubled up on that match. Do you think that was wise to do?
It's not a bad choice whatsoever.
Okay, cool.
Getting at least 3 players into that match, I think, is pretty important. If you're going to pull players from any other match to try and stack onto #RU versus Lamp or Synrgy versus High Voltage, it's probably going to be pulling off the Refuse versus Game Over game. Game Over's been playing well, but points-wise, the other ones are more likely to go longer and generate more points overall.
All right. Well, that's a fantastic thing to do indeed. Ladies and gentlemen, if you missed Tuesday's matchups, let's take a look at the scores there right up on your screen. First, we had Noble beating Game Over 5-3, followed by Simp beating Lamp 5-0, and Elevate beating Maple Freedom 5-0. And to close out our night, 07 beating Rival 5-3. A nice little bookend there, kind of a pattern going on. Let's walk through those matches one at a time. Up first, Noble versus Game Over. Now, Noble only beat Game Over, only won 1 battle onto Himmelsdorf, and then came back and won 4 in a row on Steps. What are some of the things you saw from that?
Well, obviously, Noble dominated on Steps.
Yeah.
Didn't look like Game Over had practiced it very much, and definitely didn't have a kind of a cohesive plan or strategy going in for him there. However, on Himmelsdorf, Game Over came prepared.
Absolutely.
And Nobles kept running the same thing. They weren't executing it particularly well, and they got out-tanked by Game Over a number of times, even with the ping issues Game Over faces. So, GG there for Game Over, honestly.
Very much so. Hopefully, we can continue seeing that amazing play coming up for them. But next, we had Simp versus Lamp, 5-0. Lamp on Himmelsdorf starting out. Looked like they had a moment where they might have backed Simp into a corner, but it just seemed at every single corner, Simp was out-tanking them. What are some of the things you saw there?
Simp is traditionally always a team that is able to claw their way back. They hold very strong. They're somewhat defensive, similar to Noble, but a lot of the time they capitalize on you making mistakes and don't really make too many themselves that you can convert into something big. That's pretty much the whole series right there. Simp dominated it. Lamp got wrecked. 5-0.
Yeah, scary team to face indeed. Third, we had Elevate beating Maple 5-0. Now, starting out on Mines, Maple was on offense, where they actually got extremely close to taking Elevate down. Elevate did squeeze out the victories there. But then once we switched, there was 2 hill fights where Elevate dominated there. What did you see from that?
Really, Elevate just controlled Mines the whole time. They made some mistakes that allowed Maple in, but Elevate plays such a controlled, organized game. Unless you own strategy very well, you're not going to beat them. It's not a team you can just freestyle against and poke holes in and find a way in. And Maple's not ready to play that game yet. Very few teams are, honestly.
Oh, well, let's see if they can catch up before the season ends. We only have 2 more weeks. But finally, 07 versus Rival. 07 beating Rival 5-3. Rival pulling maybe a little interesting maneuver in that northern cap, not having the tank, the T-37, I believe, die right against the wall, trying to find an angle. It didn't work out for him very well. But what were some of the things that you saw from that final match?
This was the most back-and-forth game we had all night, with Himmelsdorf being relatively split. And then when it rolled into Steps, Rival was able to take 1 game, I believe, on offense.
They did, yeah.
Which was rather impressive. But then gave up both defenses in a row to 07. 07 just outplaying them for the most part in that series.
All right, it's got to be definitely tough, but congratulations to the winner of that night. Let's take a look at the standings now as we close out our 6th week this Season 1 Gold League. Up on top, Refuse still with 20 points, followed by High Voltage, close with 19. And we've got Elevate and Noble. Down at the bottom, Maple Freedom, Lamp, and Game Over. Now, David, after tonight's matches, are we going to have all the teams playing the even amounts now? We should start seeing what relatively we should be able to see for the final 2 weeks.
It won't be 100% equal, but it'll be a lot closer than it has been so far. This week's kind of a makeup game for a lot. With 07 still in the lead, having played 9 games with nobody else playing more than that.
Wow.
Many of them will match that tonight, and most of the teams that have played only 7 will be bumped up to 8 tonight as well. So what we're seeing is some interesting trends. The Simp vs. Noble game is probably one of the most important games for match standings we've seen so far. The only other one I can really think of that has that level of importance would be Simp versus, High Voltage versus Elevate.
Okay.
Or pretty much any of the #RU matches against one of the top teams, because if they just turn it back on, it's going to cause chaos in the brackets, and nobody knows what's going to happen. But right now, this is going to be very important for deciding who is 5th and who is 6th overall between Simp and Noble.
All right, well, then let's take a look at the matches that we have up for you guys tonight. Up first, we're going to have Synrgy versus High Voltage, followed by Refuse versus Game Over. Third is going to be #RU versus Lamp. And finally, like we were talking about, Noble versus Simp. One of those games that's going to be extremely important to see how the rest of the season goes. Now, David, out of the 4 matches up tonight, is that going to be Noble versus Simp? Is that the one you're most looking forward to?
Absolutely. It's got the highest stakes in it, bar none.
Cool. I'm going to go ahead and have to agree with you there. Ladies and gentlemen, that'll do it for our pregame show. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with match number 1 after this. Coming across, Noble doing their best to find the home runs that they had. Hall being the focus. Durham going to pick that one up, and now the fight has exploded. HK taking down X-Soldier. Urtai looks like he's the next focus. 730 points of damage. Running into Valkyrie. Not something you want to do when you're trying to escape this Canadian Impact. Picks that one up. Valkyrie going to be the next one to go down, it looks like. Canadian Impact going to find that one. HK, though, responding by finding Cops. And Dodo. Back-to-back kills coming out for Rival. But Militant going to find World 2 Fnatic. A 4 now beat. Timer. They need to find Hall, and they need to find Urtai. Urtai will be a lot easier to go down. A shot going on to Sublime Banana. Nothing happening. Hall taking some good damage. Dazzling Tire missing a shot, and at this time of the game, every single shot counts. 22 seconds remain. Dazzling Time got to be worried now. He's one more shot away. Sublime Banana looking to take down Hall. If he can get a shot, he'll take it. Sublime Banana picks it up, and now it is just Urtai. He has a shot loading up. If Dazzling Time can turn his turn in time, he'll take him out. 13 seconds remain. Urtai finding Dazzling. One more shot, and he can clamp this one up. But Sublime Banana will have the shot ready and willing. 7 seconds. He'll pick it up. Sublime Banana coming all the way. Right now. That's the Androx coming around the corner, getting lit up in that IS-3, taking over 1,300 points of damage. A couple more shots, and he will go down heavy 20, being the one to finalize that one. And now the trap has been set. Anfield on the other side of that, taking a lot of damage in T32, dropping far below half health, but heavy 20 picking up another kill. Malaysia going down. Overload Prime finding a kill against Anfield. The first pickup of the game. Blue Boys captain, though, getting extremely low himself. He's on reload. He is not going to go anywhere as Crimson seals his fate to kill him. And his T32 coming around the corner to help out. Ampro finding. Is looking for him over on the side of the lake. He needs to just stay behind the rocks as long as he can. 10 seconds down. A shot coming out from Abrasive. 2 shots now for Godzilla Mode. 5 seconds. He just needs to survive just a little bit longer. Godzilla Mode has his pick up. But Boom taking the kill in the final seconds. #RU find the victory 5-4. We go.
Coming in for the kill.
5 breast cancer.
He get it?
Let's see if the TD will come through. He's on his way. He sees them. He takes a shot. Will he make it? He's lining up right in the back. He punts him and gets the ram just to rub it in. A beautiful amount of damage. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the WGLNA Season 1 Gold League. I'm your host, Christian Toma. To my left in the corner is David Williams. Make sure to check us out on Facebook and YouTube /WGLNA. As always, if you guys aren't watching this on battleviewer.com, it's always better over there, so go ahead and check that out. And also follow us on Twitter @WGLNA so you guys can stay up to date on what's happening in the community around you.
You can also check out the question of the day, which is which remaining match are you most looking forward to?
Yeah, this might be a cheating answer, but I am so excited just to see the finals. I'm excited to see the top 2 teams duke it out to see who is the best of the 754 format. But that is me, David. What about you?
It's a cheating answer. I'm going to have to go with High Voltage versus Elevate.
Okay. Yeah,
It's
talk
some of
about
the
it.
highest stakes overall. And even though High Voltage has to beat Synrgy here to stay on top as well, High Voltage's probably biggest opponent overall is still Elevate.
All right. Well,
Left in their season, that is.
Well, that is in the future. Right now, we have a matchup for you guys later. The first match of the night, Synrgy versus High Voltage. The face-off is ready. We've got J Smooth for Synrgy, Tofu Smurf for High Voltage. Gentlemen, welcome to the face-off.
How's it going?
Good, good, good. Thanks for asking. I'm sorry, J Smooth. We're gonna go ahead and start with you. Now, we noticed you guys removed moderator and added JoJo Jackie. What can you tell us about that?
Moderator was having some time issues getting in on the practices and whatnot, so we just mutually decided that'd be best to part ways for the end of this season, but definitely left the doors open to continuing into next season when his schedule clears up a little bit.
All right. Well, sorry to hear that had to happen, but hopefully this is what you guys need to keep giving you guys that extra boost in the season.
Yeah, should be good. Jackie's a proven player. Came from Lamp, has experience from last season. So we're excited to have him. He's been doing well in practices, ready to rock.
Great.
All right, Smooth. Considering that Tofu abandoned you, I think it's fair to give you a shot. What do you hate most about Tofu Smurf?
Ooh.
Oh, hate about Tofu Smurf. How can you hate a face like that? No, Tofu is, I guess the one thing you could say you hate about Tofu is just too nice sometimes. But some of the funniest audio we have is when he breaks that niceness. It reaches its threshold, especially after I played really bad in a match last season, and he just goes off. It was great. So he has that threshold where he will be the non-nice Tofu. Yeah, that'd be the thing I hate about him. He's just too nice at times.
Too nice. You know, that's actually how I tell the difference between Tofu and Sela. I just see which one's nicer. I'm like, oh, it's got to be Tofu.
Well, Tofu, now I'm going to ask you a question. Please keep that nice side on for the answer of this. When asked in the league which teams besides themselves they saw was the most formidable of the season, many teams said you guys. What is your response to that?
Well, I mean, it's flattering that people think that of us, considering it's our first season together, and it's also the expectation that we kind of hold for ourselves as well. So, you know, but honestly, like we try to keep all that chatter outside of it. We kind of just do our thing, and you know, we don't try to listen to all the noise that's happening outside of that. And you know, if we can reach our own expectations, then that'll speak for itself.
Absolutely. It's got to be great when expectations meet reality. I mean, that's got to be such an awesome thing, especially like you said, being just a new formed team in this season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a lot of growing pains. You know, a bunch of guys who haven't had a chance to play together too much. Granted, we all know each other and whatnot, so there's going to be growing pains going through it. And you know, I never expected to be like a smooth ride or anything like that. But you know, our job is to try to overcome all that. So.
Well, best of luck going up from here.
All right, Tofu, time to balance the scales. What do you love most about J Smooth?
Well, I mean, I'll exclude all the things I can't say about that one trip we all took to San Fran, because that's allowed to be talked about. But I guess what I love about J Smooth is everything about J Smooth. He's one of the best captains I know, one of the greatest guys I know, a friend. You know, a guy I never had any problems with, and you know, I would follow anywhere. So he's such a great guy. And I guess another thing if there is something to hate about J Smooth is I hate that there's no opportunity for me as a younger person to adopt J Smooth as my father. So
you could do it, guy. It's America. The crazier things have happened.
I'm still pulling the trigger tonight. It's not gonna help.
Oh, well, this has been probably the nicest face-off we've seen so far. This will be interesting to see. J Smooth, do you have any responses or any last words before we get into against Tofu Smurf?
Oh, ready to get into it against our old buddies Wally and Angry. Hopefully Tofu gets in there tonight. I do have this thriving pain in my back. From where's that thing? Oh, this thing I had to pull out of my back after the season last year. It just hurts.
Wow. Wow. Tofu Smurf, what is your response?
Man.
I probably was able to snuck that thing in there when I was in disguise in my Simple
Yes.
Tankers jersey.
Ouch.
But
Ouch.
if there's anything I could say is that that's all over and done with. So too bad. And I hope you're ready to step into the danger zone.
Ooh.
Oh, baby.
Fighting words.
I was
Gentlemen,
born in the danger zone.
thank you so much.
It
Best
is
of luck to you guys.
Throwback jersey tonight. Throwback.
Take it back. Oh, and we're cutting him off. All right. Well, he was gone
Oh,
mid-sentence there. That was by far the nicest face-off we have ever seen.
And I believe setting the record for the longest face-off we've ever seen.
This is true. That's probably why we had to cut him off there. Now, before we get into it, let's take a look at the rosters actually coming out, because we did mention that we had Moderator being removed and JoJo Jackie being added for Synrgy. David, what can you say about that?
There you have it. JoJo Jackie in the 4 slot. Moderator nowhere to be seen. Meanwhile, for High Voltage, they're sticking with it. All they did this season was add to Killzor, and that seems to be working out for them. So I think we're all pretty familiar with the rosters at this point. We know who's good.
Yep.
There is one thing I heard a rumor of only very recently. I'm not sure if it's true. The Pub Whisperer might not be playing tonight for Synrgy.
Oh,
That would be unfortunate, but they do have a lot of other talent on that team that's stepping up this season. So perhaps if he is gone, it won't affect him that much.
sure. Now, kind of seeing just the love that both of these, these opposing players have for each other. Coming just obviously from an awesome background through the different seasons. But does it make it a little more lighthearted when you're playing against people that you played against, you have just such an affection for, or is you still just going at it? Does nothing change in the battle, or is it same old, same old?
I mean, I suppose it depends on the team that you're on, the culture that you're on.
Okay.
But for me, it would be a bigger deal. I would want to beat my old opponents or my old teammates.
Sure.
Just cuz.
Sure.
I certainly don't want to let them lord that over me, but it doesn't look like these two are even the type to do that, so perhaps that's not on them. But with my team, it would not have been a nice face-off. Not like that. And we certainly
Fair.
would be rubbing each other the wrong way when it comes to this kind of thing.
Fair enough. But ladies and gentlemen, what we have for you right now is match number 1, Synrgy Gaming versus High Voltage. Let's get right into it and take a look at what we've got for our tanks.
Synrgy Gaming with 2 5100s, 3 T54 lightweights, and 2 LTTBs. Meanwhile, High Voltage with 4 IS3s, 2 1390s, and Tofu Smurf. Wait, these teams be backwards. These teams are backwards indeed.
Oh.
All right, so it's actually High Voltage with, or no, it's actually Synrgy with the 4 IS3s, 2 1390s, and M44, and High Voltage. I'm losing my mind.
You might be losing your mind.
Why is Tofu Smurf? Oh, okay. Wow. Okay. No, everything's right. I'm losing my mind. Him wearing that Simple Tanker jersey just threw me off
Oh, really?
so hard.
Okay.
Tofu is on High Voltage. I
Right.
can't. Oh wow.
Hey, it's okay. It's
Wow.
okay. So you were right the first time.
Yeah. Well, hey. On the plus side, the UI's correct.
Da-da-da-da. All right, now starting out on Lakeville. Both of these teams kind of the history between what we've seen on Synrgy and High Voltage playing this map. Who do you think has who do you think we've seen has a better strategy going into it, or both pretty even?
Honestly, High Voltage has shown some of the best Lakeville play overall, so probably them. But Synrgy is just a very good team this season, a lot better than they have been in the past. And I
Okay.
like seeing a lot of what they're doing. I think they stand a good chance here. One thing to note, this kind of plays into that whole snafu I just went through. Ox Mathis isn't playing. And
There
he's not
goes
in the M44.
There goes my fantasy.
So, I mean, I was panning over there, and I look at it, I'm like, M44 Tofu Smurf, I guess Synrgy's running, wait, what's going on?
Right.
I don't know anymore. But if you are a viewer, that is High Voltage on the right, Synrgy on the left, and for some reason Tofu Smurf is playing Ox Mathis' M44, or I suppose his own M44. We'll
Yep.
see if he can live up to it. I mean, we did see in an 07 interview that he mentioned that Ox is not the only person on the team who can
That's
play
right.
artillery well.
That's right.
That is probably exactly true. Artillery is not supremely difficult for these pros. A lot of them can play it quite well. And let's see if he can deliver quite the same. That's the thing. He can probably play it well, but can he play it the way Ox Mathis
Right,
has
he's got
under
some
pressure?
He's got
It's
some
a
big
whole
shoes to
different
fill.
category.
All right, now looking at what we've got so far to Killzor. Taking the first damage of the game. Some shots going across the lake there, coming out from Unknown One and Pride. Some more shots going. Blue Boy's captain actually getting focus fire down in his 1390. Across the lake there and behind him, Zakuman Executus looks like these two members of High Woltage are kind of caught out in a bit of a situation, as we have red on either side. Let's see if High Woltage can respond. Looks like they're sending some members into the city to deal with this. Wallhacks and Ampro come around the corner. They're going to catch out Flak. Let's see, he has been spotted. The turrets are turned. He's doing a good little job bouncing between with 2 shots going through. 833 points of damage. And the LTTB into Killzor. Gonna find the first tank of this match, taking down Flak. And LTTB down, and base capture has started to put pressure on the side of Synrgy Gaming executives. Zakumi over there along with J-Smooth. Now, the positionings of that kind of push that High Woltage just did with Wallhacks and Ampro to take down Flak. Was there something Synrgy Gaming could have done there or should have done to respond to that so they didn't just lose the tank for free?
No, it's because they're so spread that I believe they were able to partially get away with what happened there. Blue Boys is very, very low. Daki also took quite a bit of damage, but this doesn't necessarily mean that it's over. That HP differential is a big deal, but Synrgy is losing tanks that are isolated in the east. Meanwhile, it's only the cap fast pressure going on here for Synrgy that can actually pay out for him, and High Woltage simply has to reset it. As long as they keep Tofu Smurf alive long enough to get that shot, it should be in the bag.
All right, well, now a kill going down into Killzor, I believe, was dropping over the city. A shot going out there for Heavy 20, getting the resets that they need. More and more damage, but right in the back, I believe that Sakumi has the most points. They gotta get a shot on him. They get a shot into Executives. The cap going back and forth, now up to 77 seconds, dropping back down to 24. But the resets looks like they keep going through for the side of High Voltage. The question is, what will Synrgy do? If they keep Zakumi protected, they might be able to take this. He still hasn't taken a single chunk of damage. Heavy 20 finding J-Smooth. So they're getting reset again. 25 seconds on the clock. More shots coming through. The artillery getting Executives. A beautiful pickup. That might have been a little splash damage on Zakumi there. The reset going now to 27. Now here comes Wallhacks and Blue Boys coming in for the kill. They want to find Executives. A shot coming out, but over in the city, Jojo Jackie picking up Anfield. Wallhacks taking the shot. Nothing missing. Blue Boys captain again being extremely low. He's got to be careful. The clock continuing to go down. He's got some. A shot goes off of him. It bounces. He's looking right for Zakumi. He takes a shot. It didn't look like it hit, but it might be some splash damage from the Artie there that got the reset. Zakumi finds Blue Boys captain, but it is a 4-on-5 in favor of High Voltage. Wallhacks now just in free reign. The Executives dancing around the corpse of the fallen ally, taking a shot. That one connecting. The shot from Wallhacks looking for Zakumi, gets another one down. And the more and more this goes, it's not looking good for Synrgy Gaming. Heavy 20 picking up Executives. And now just 3 tanks remain. The cap pressure has been off, and High Voltage looks like they should be able to take this one.
This is one of the few times throughout this entire season where I wished we had 9 cameras, because there is so much going on in this match.
Sure.
And a lot of times when that kind of thing happens, when you see this many fights in this many different places, and I think we can assume Wally's going to push out Zakumi here. Let's check out what Jackie's doing.
Ooh. Tofu Smurf, a nice little TD shot and on one.
Going on over here, honestly.
Wallhacks taking down Zakumi. And now it is just Jojo Jackie against the Killzor. A shot to take care of the Killzor. Jojo Jackie picking that one up. Heavy 20 responding, 328 damage in that 50-100. And now Ampro full health on the chase. Synrgy Gaming is on offense. But this should and will go to High Voltage. Ampro cleaning that one up, picking up the first victory of the night. Now 1-0 against Synrgy Gaming. Oh, David, sorry, what you were saying about having those multiple fights happening in different places, what does that kind of say about the battle?
So, a lot of the times when I see that kind of thing, and let me take a quick, we need to go to stats.
Wow,
really
we go to stats,
Heavy 20, 9 shots, taken and penetrated, flat out, 3,000 damage in the IS-3.
Wow.
That is huge. That is a huge deal. 94 defense points. Oh, wow. I've picked him so many times this season, and I don't pick him today. And then he puts up, that's going to be like nearly a 90-point battle, I guess. Killzor, not doing so well in comparison. Only showing him in this instance because, not to highlight the fact that he got shut down, but because a lot of people care about it for fantasy points. Jojo Jackie, also shooting fairly well, getting about 1,400 overall. The rest of the team not quite getting in there. So what I was saying specifically, a lot of times when you see that many different battles taking place, it's not a good thing.
Okay.
I've described it as chaos in the past. This was almost chaos by design. Synrgy knew they were going to cause this mess.
Really?
And perhaps they're aware of the fact, what I consider a fact, that if they play High Voltage head-to-head and they allow High Voltage to play their game,
they're not going to
High
win.
Voltage should win.
Okay.
Synrgy is good, but the player talent on High Voltage is higher, and their overall strategic freestyle sometimes is some of the best I've seen in the league to date.
Wow.
So this is not a bad idea. If you can do things like this and cause High Voltage to respond to things they're perhaps not prepared for, and then you outplay them in those small areas,
Okay.
you can convert these into wins. So while a lot of the time I would criticize something that was so spread and so haphazard, I think this is the best play they could have made in that situation. It just didn't pan out for him.
All right, well, let's see if it pans out for him this time. Ladies and gentlemen, as we're into our next battle, Synrgy versus High Voltage, same sides. Let's get right into it and take a look at what we've got for our tank line.
For Synrgy Gaming, 2 5100s, 3 54 lightweights, and 2 LTTBs. For High Voltage, 3 IS3s, an AMX 1390, 2 54 lightweights, and a T37. Worth highlighting here that Pub Whisperer is indeed not playing.
Right.
So, rip a lot of teams' fantasy.
Hopefully,
points, honestly.
hopefully those teams did not have him on his fantasy, and if they did, I'm sorry, but you can come back, of course. Now, David, kind of going off where this battle really takes place, Synrgy Gaming wanting to cause chaos here. Obviously, if this is their plan, we'll see it this time as well. The same thing happens twice. How do you prepare for that? I mean, you say, hey, all right, we're going to cause some chaos. We're going to cause fights all over the place. Try to get High Voltage into a situation that they're not comfortable with. Do you then become the ones to control that, or can you even prep for something like that? Or just kind of like, all right, guys, whatever happens during that exact match is what we're going to go with.
The key is simply not to panic. Because if you just see things in places you're not expecting and freeze, that's when those strategies work. As long as High Voltage's opener and their individual skill is on point, they can handle things like this because they're not exactly cohesive and very well put together strategies. However, this time, Synrgy Gaming is not doing it half and half. They're going full bore, and it looks to me like they're going to send 2 5100s down the 1-2, which is a dubious choice at best, and then probably both those LTTBs down the 4-line to control that. So they're putting a lot of firepower down the 1-2 to try and bully off Cap and control the 4-5 area with their lighter tanks LTTBs, which can still handle 54 lightweights in a 2-on-1 for sure. And this is really going to come down to how well Synrgy can get those 5100s into the fight. And this terrain, I personally don't like it, and I would be terrified to be one of those 5100s right now, as it would be virtually impossible to close the distance and get your 6 in without getting ripped up on the way.
All right, well, we'll see what happens indeed. It looked like Tofu Smurf was getting pushed out of there in that T-37. Heavy 20 doing a good job defending him. And now the shots going out for the cap pressure. No one to kills or exchanging some bullets there. Zakumi. And Executive is going to be on that cap, dropping it down to 35 seconds. And here comes J Smooth and Jojo Jackie. Also, what's happening over on Blue Boys Captain. Heavy 20 taking a good chunk of damage there as well. That might be coming out from Black. Pride still up in the north there. And now a fight going on in the center. Blue Boys Captain taking out Black. The first tank going down of this battle in favor of High Voltage. The HP about 500 in favor of them too. But the cap fast has been put on. It is now at 8 seconds, getting reset there. 15 now down to 8 again, going back and forth. Let's see how long High Voltage can keep this up, because if they let it go any further, Synrgy Gaming should be able to take this. Blue Boys Captain rushing back in his 1390, well as Anfield down to 3 seconds. 2, 1. They need to get a reset. They do just in time, but it's going down to 0. Let's see if Synrgy Gaming has it. High Voltage has not been able to reset it, and they get it. Synrgy Gaming has successfully attacked onto High Voltage on Lakeville, now tying it up 1-1. The cap fast working out there in that moment.
That was okay. So the 5100s, apparently they actually expected them to get annihilated, and they were using them as blocks.
Yeah.
Not a bad idea,
Worked out
especially
well.
considering as a blocker tank, it can bully you off corners, because if you want to play, if you poke around a corner against the 5100
Just going to unload.
and he tracks you twice, you're going to die. So
Right.
very nice strategic
great.
play on that part. Again, with Synrgy with some of the most, I hesitate to call any cap fast elegant, but that was fairly elegant. I mean,
Sure.
the way they stack tanks on there, the way they control that is something that a lot of teams either just don't bother doing because they have other ways they want to play it, or they just can't do it that well. And
Sure.
every single time I see Synrgy pull it off, it seems like the cap goes from 25, 30 seconds down to like 8 instantly. And it's just impressive how well they manage those points.
Absolutely.
And it's a very important thing. Side note before we keep going. Would show you stats. Heavy 20 got 1,000 damage. Nothing else really happened. Probably some reset points in here. But not nearly as many as you would think.
All right.
Strangely, seems to be missing. About 20 total, whatever.
Huh.
So what I was saying is the way they do it is just better than a lot of other people. And to defend against that kind of thing, it's a complicated thing.
Okay.
Everybody has to talk about who has points, who got reset,
Sure.
in order to get those resets in appropriately. And in that situation, Killzor was really the only person who had the angles to get the resets, but he got lit up when he poked around the corner by everything there.
So he couldn't.
There was one bounce I saw off of 54 in cap that was probably a
that
game
might have done
decider
it.
right there. Situation where
artillery?
Maybe HE. Well, if they had an artillery, that whole strategy
Wouldn't work.
Wouldn't have functioned at all.
Right.
That is, if High Voltage had artillery,
Right.
there's no way Synrgy would have been able to pull that cap off as well as they did. Maybe they still would have gotten it, but that arc on the M44
It would have been
or even
pretty
the
tough.
F304 would have dropped in on that, and that would have been much harder thing to defend.
All right, well, congratulations, Synrgy, on that cap fast, ladies and gentlemen. We're into the next battle. We've switched sides. Let's get right into it and take a look at our tanks.
So for Synrgy Gaming, we have two 5100s, two IS-3s, two T-54 lightweights, and an M44. For High Voltage, three IS-3s, a T-32, an AMX 1390, and a T-54 lightweight, along with a FE-304. So both teams bringing artillery this time. I wonder if the counter battery will happen.
Oh, that will
Certainly
be.
easier for Tofu to counter Executus than Executus is to counter Tofu.
Is that just because of the places that Executus can go?
Locations, arcs, fire rate, and size.
Wow, so all of them go in the favor of Tofu.
A lot of them. A
Okay.
lot of them. But there is also a chance that Tofu could slightly miss and not kill Executus, whereas Executus lands anywhere near Tofu, he will probably kill him in one shot. So
Gotcha.
if Tofu hits a direct shot, then it's certainly a problem. Executus' position is a little bit different from what most people usually use, so I don't imagine he'll be found particularly easily. However, a lot of the time, teams like this don't counter. And I was in the middle of talking about this the last time we saw somebody get countered, which, in case anybody forgot, which I don't think they did, Germ certainly didn't.
Nope, Germ did
Oxmathis counter battery Germ on mines. Now, that is a very easy shot, not only to make, but to conceive of to begin with, because once you figure out where Germ is, which they did the match before, once they found out where he was in that match, it's very easy because he doesn't have very many places to be. So it's very easy to deduce where the artillery has to be, where he will be, especially if you had previous sites. In this situation, much harder, so
Sure.
I doubt people will spend the time unless there's just not a lot of action happening, and Executus is continuously firing, or Tofu's consistently firing, then maybe they'll look for each other, but I don't expect to see one in this match. High Voltage biasing themselves towards the west, Tofu getting tucked up under about D1, which should give him some interesting angles into the cap area, allow him to shoot Flak and Pride very frequently, and if he uses heat, he can actually rack up quite a bit of damage with that.
There we go, a shot going out. Now Wallhacks, Ampro, and Anfield all coming over the side, letting loose into those T-54s as they're backing off. They're trying to get out of there. Now they, now Synrgy Gaming, knowing possibly, probably very certainly what High Voltage is up to, having these T-54s go back. What do you think we're going to see in these next couple of minutes as High Voltage is putting down to the Southern Cap?
This is debatable. It's a good instinct, but it could not work out. Flak and Pride are going after Killzor in a T-32. That's a lot of hit points. He's also backed up by Blue Boy's Captain and AMX 1390. Technically, this is a very smart play to make, but High Voltage knew that ahead of time, planned their entire lineup around it,
Wow.
and are trying to stop this dead in its tracks. Blue Boy's connecting with one shot.
Two.
If he keeps racking it up, this will be an easy win.
Here we go, Synrgy being the one to take that damage from Blue Boy's Captain. Killzor now backing off, more damage going in through. The shot actually onto Killzor, not connecting. And now down in the southwest, we've got the cap pressure going on. Anfield, Ampro, Heavy 20, Wallhacks, and Tofu are the ones putting that pressure on. Now it looks like Flak and Pride are getting out of there. They know that they can't keep pushing. A beautiful, beautiful setup from that 1390 Blue Boys Captain. Now we go Unknown One and Zakumi coming in, trying to find the resets when they can. Let's see how much High Voltage can punish them. Heavy 20 getting a beautiful side shot there into that IS-3. Some shots going out for the artillery. Nothing connecting quite yet. A bounce. Well, it looked like, actually, that was Tofu Smurf using the artillery. There's the bounce onto Ampro. Unknown One getting extremely low. A couple more shots. He should go down. Zakumi also dangerously in there. And it looks like the cap is not what High Voltage are going for. Wallhacks coming out for Anfield picking up the Unknown One. And now Zakumi's in a lot of danger. Some more shots going out all over the cross of the map. Also, Pride and Flak still low in those two T-54s. Zakumi, a couple more shots. He should go down here, and that will relieve a lot of pressure down the southern cap. There it is. Ampro finding him, but Executus picking up Wallhacks there. Now 6 tanks for the side of High Voltage against 5 of Synrgy Gaming, and now 4 as Anfield picks up J Smooth to Killzor. Now pushing in onto Flak and Pride there in that center road. The cap pressure getting applied again. Executive still in the M44, he should maybe possibly be able to get some resets here. The question is, will it be enough as Pride getting pushed by the Killzor? One more shot, and he should go down. Let's see if Black can protect the time. I'm not sure he has enough damage to do anything. The shot is up, trying to get in front of his buddy. Blue Boys captain fighting Executives, and the Killzor finding Pride. 2 pickups there for High Voltage, and now just 2 tanks remain for the side of Synrgy Gaming. Flak should go down with the shot from the Killzor. There it is. Jojo Jackie doing his best in the 5100. He's going to pick up the Killzor, but with only 2 shots left, the cap now down to 0. High Voltage will pick up this victory onto Synrgy Gaming. Offense onto Lakeville. Congratulations to them there. Now, let's talk about Blue Boys captain's positioning there and how smart and how amazing that was for High Voltage to kind of predict what Synrgy Gaming was going to do. Is that something that you risk by putting Blue Boys there, because if Synrgy Gaming doesn't do that, you have a tank that's left behind? Or is his position such an easy flex position that he can really be used no matter what happens?
He can still flex very quickly in that AMX 1390. You might be onto something with the overall separation of where High Voltage was, allowing Synrgy to group up and push against him. But Synrgy was also split, so quite frankly, there wasn't a whole lot of weaknesses in what High Voltage was doing.
Okay.
Synrgy had a lot of time with a 5100 over there in the east side of town. Heavy 20s position in the K line, able to fire to the side of people trying to defend the cap. Again, in a situation where a lot of cameras might have been necessary. Blue Boys late flank picking up the artillery. Just overall, it was a very well put together play by High Voltage. Very well executed, and Synrgy just wasn't able to stop it due to position, strategy, a lot of different things. But I love how both of these teams are coming out to play. There's not a whole lot of just dancing around, waiting, trying to whittle anybody down to create an opening. They have a strategy that involves expecting a response,
right,
and then how they're going to trap that response or how they're going to use that response to their advantage. Everything is pointed and deliberate, and I like it.
Awesome. And now looking at Synrgy Gaming bringing that M44, do you think it did enough work there? Because it didn't seem as if High Voltage actually was going for the cap pressure at all.
I'm not sure if we have enough time to go to stats.
Just tell us.
So, no, we don't. So, Executives fired 4 times, hit twice, and penetrated twice for about 1,300 damage.
Oh, wow.
So, one of those was a very critical shot on an IS-3, and the other one was a broadside shot into Blue Boys' 1390 for about 800.
Right.
So, that second shot wasn't as important, obviously, it's too late. But the first shot he made, very important.
All right, well, let's get now into the next battle, ladies and gentlemen. Same size, Synrgy versus High Voltage. High Voltage now up 2-1. Let's get right into it and take a look at what we've got. All right, tanks.
Synrgy Gaming with 2 5100s, 2 IS-3s, 2 T-54 lightweights, and an M44. High Voltage with a 5100, 3 IS-3s, 2 T-54 lightweights, and an FB-304. Again, 2 artillery.
Now, that artillery, David, we've seen it be used in the city on the side of defense there, but is that really just, to stop any sort of, southwestern cap, that one cap? I mean, does an artillery pretty much just shut that down completely?
More or less. That is the use I see. You could have other plans for Blue Boys captain making a very, very quick play to try and get to this early scout position, denying Synrgy the ability to go west, which is obviously going to be a super important part of what High Voltage is planning. They're moving only 1 tank into the 4 line to help get any shots on anything that attempts to cross or opens itself up to that vector. Pride is the only one who slipped anywhere west. Not sure Killzor or anybody else knows that, so there is 1 T-54 in the wind. The rest of High Voltage is going to come crashing down the 890 lines. They want this fight. Everything they did was to make this fight happen, and we'll see if they either have some sort of small unit tactics to make sure they win, or some overall grand strategic plan in order to seal this up.
All right, Blue Boys captain, they're taking some shots from Pride over on the south end of the mountain ridge. Like you're saying, David, High Voltage is pushing in with all of their tanks, except for the Killzor into the city. Tofu's staying back in that FV-304. Now, David, is the arc on the FV-304, I think we talked about this before, but is the arc on the 304 better for city fights than the M44?
Yes. I'll say it's higher.
Okay.
So it can shoot over more things. Doesn't necessarily mean it's better. But
Sure.
Here we go.
That's right. Woltage taking the first bit of damage there from number 1, and now Ampro and Anvil Company going him up. Shots going out all over the side on no one. Getting dropped to about half, but some more damage going to the members of High Voltage there. Those 3 IS-3s now backing up as J-Smooth and Jojo Jackie pushing up to make sure they can defend this corner, but Anfield focusing down Takumi. the first tank to fall. The side of Synergy, but J Smooth gonna respond by taking Ambro, and now Anfield, 2 kills back-to-back for the side of Synrgy Gaming, but a lot of response going in there. Wallhack has to get back to Jackie. If he takes a shot, he'll take him down. There it is. Tofu Smurf doing some damage onto Unknown One, but 3 kills in a row for Synrgy. Here comes the response to Killzor, finding Pride. Flak finding Blue Boy's captain, and the Killzor moving on the side. The T-54 now switching positions to Killzor. Let's see what he's going to do, if he's going to move back in to defend his town. Unknown One taking shots from there as well as Executives, but just 3 tanks remain for High Voltage against the 5 of Synrgy Gaming. And that city play, not sure that worked out for them. Flak taking 411 points of damage from that artillery. A beautiful shot there for Tofu Smurf.
2 5100s is what matters the most here. Synrgy has 2 of them. They're almost clipped and they're moving in. It's going to be nigh impossible for Heavy 20 and Tofu Smurf to repel this kind of offense, and that could be everything that Synrgy needs. Should be everything that Synrgy needs to see this out.
Here we go, the shots going out. A little more damage for the side of Dojak, and now Heavy 20 taking more. 600 for some high rolls going out there. J Smooth finds Tofu Smurf, but if Heavy 20 can take one more shot, can take it down? No, he does get that chunk of damage, so he should be easy to clean up. It is now just him and the Killzor. J Smooth from up on the town, taking Heavy 20 down. And now just a Killzor remains against Executives, Unknown One, and J Smooth. Here he comes in the T-54. Not sure that there's much he can do against an IS-3. Executives on the run, but his turret is turned to the side and coming around the corner. Super quickly takes a shot. No damage connecting. Let's see if Executives can pick this up. TD mode. Here it is. There's the shot to Killzor. Going down. Synrgy Gaming now tying this one up 2-2. Woo, David, I am liking this. We got fast games. We've got a good strategy. Good overall play coming up from both sides. Now let's break it down. What happened in that team fight, in that center city battle that High Voltage was looking for?
I don't know what High Voltage was planning there.
Okay.
When they pushed into 2 5100s when they themselves only had 1.
Okay.
So exchanging 1 IS-3 for a 5100 in a fight that close up is something I don't think anybody wants.
Okay.
The 5100 is going to clip down a full IS-3 in the time it takes an IS-3 to fire, maybe twice if it's lucky.
Gotcha.
So just a head-to-head strategic loss in the city portion. We can go to statistics very quickly.
Okay.
To break down exactly who got the damage. JoJo Jackie shooting perfect 10 in his 5100. J Smooth shooting 8 for 10 overall. The rest of the team still important in the overall play with that IS-3. Actually, yep, there it is. Zakumi. Zakumi probably taking a lot of time. He takes a lot of damage upon himself to initiate corners. Heavy 20 also shooting a perfect 10. And the rest of the team, again, just kind of getting wrecked on those corners. It's an awkward IS-3 fight. Interesting thing you can see here. Perfect 10s both sides. JoJo Jackie, about 100 damage less. Happens.
Wow.
Happens. RNG,
So
most
close.
other things. Could have killed a tank that was lower. Whatever. What matters there was, for some reason, High Voltage pushed directly into a fight that they shouldn't have pushed into.
Okay.
And Synrgy punished them for every step of it. They had a split angle. It's not like you can push anywhere nicely. They must have thought they had an advantage, or that they just could have out-tanked Synrgy there, because other than that, strategically,
You shouldn't have done it.
Either it didn't make sense and they made a mistake, or I'm missing something that should have been a cue in there. Killzor did have angles into some parts of it, but not enough of that area. That is one of the last places I would want to have a tank-on-tank fight on that map.
All right, well, now what about Blue Boys captains positioning in the middle, rushing to that rock, making sure that none of the teams of Synrgy can move onto the certain positions? I mean, is that maybe there was something that didn't quite get fleshed out there? Maybe he wasn't expected to be spotted. Ladies and gentlemen, we actually don't have enough time to go into that as we're into our next battle, all tied up 2-2. Synrgy Gaming versus High Voltage now on Himmelsdorf. Let's get right into it and take a look at what we've got for our tanks.
I think I figured it out, but we'll get back to that in a second.
Great.
Synrgy Gaming, 2 5100s, 4 IS-3s, and AMX-12T. High Voltage, 2 5100s, 4 IS-3s, and a T-37. So, not going to dwell on this too long. I was missing what is very obvious, honestly. What High Voltage was looking for there was catching a lot more tanks moving west. They expected that to happen. Now, they either thought that one of two things happened after that. They either thought that more tanks went west and they just didn't catch them, and they could still push the city, or they realized that their timing was way off to do anything other than the city shove, because they had already invested so much time and resources there, already stranded blue there.
So all right, we got to do
it. It was just a one-off strat. It was a gamble, and it didn't end up panning out for them because Synrgy ran what is essentially a perfect counter to it, whether they actually saw that coming in the meta or not. So there you go.
Great.
I don't think it was a mistake. I think they just made the best with what happened after throwing a gamble in. It's
Gotcha.
my guess based on how I've seen him play so far.
Oh, there we go. Fantastic guess. But now we are on to Himmelsdorf. And David, looking at both these teams and kind of the setup we've got now here. Angry Guy going spotting that T-37, going to the courtyard, making sure no one crosses. Jojo Jackie, I believe, made it through without being spotted. And it seems to be kind of a spread going on here. I mean, Executive still maintaining down there in that K8 area. A couple guys up on the hill, a couple guys in the G line. Is this pretty standard for Synrgy Gaming on an offense?
It's standard for a lot of people. Seems to be kind of the meta for an offense here to check out exactly where you want to go before you go there. So it enables you to go west or north. As long as you put the 5100s on the top of the hill to begin with, it's not a big deal.
Okay.
The only real vulnerability you have there is, say, if High Voltage came crashing down on them right off the bat, which High Voltage has done a couple times, but probably not against Synrgy. I think it's a safe bet.
Gotcha.
High Voltage is running an interesting spread. They have Angry Guy, Wall Hacks, Blue Boys, into Killzor, back in some pretty standard positions. Still, I still haven't really made up my mind completely about this position that Wall Hacks is in. It's great and it's terrible at the same time, but as long as you can key off of what happens there, should be pretty easy. But these other two positions, Tofu Smurf and Heavy 20, I like a lot. It still enables some amount of courtyard control, and perhaps they'll get a shot here.
Here we go. There we go. A shot going up, but it actually bouncing. Looks like onto Unknown One, and all 7 members of Synrgy Gaming pushing as one solid unit coming up that road. Flak now, Unknown One, and Zakumi pushing even further. Jojo Jackie breaking off in that 12T, and Executive taking more shots. Tofu Smurf, 389 in that IS-3, the first damage of this battle. And looking at kind of where High Voltage is, an Angry Guy taking some more damage in that T-37, but we've seen that kind of setup there before. He's there for the shield so that the Killzor can hopefully, ideally, get free resets. J Smooth picking up Angry Guy there in that 5100. Looks like he might be going on the reload. Jojo Jackie just backing off here. And now looking at what we've kind of been talking about, when a team pushes up that 7-8 line and they don't take damage, or they just do not get either spotted or they don't take any sort of punishment by getting this close to the cap, is that something that High Voltage either just got caught off on, or is that something that they're okay with letting happen?
They're entirely okay with it. You can see the trap they're laying here. They moved Wall Hacks out of that suspect position. They pushed to Killzor around the A-line corner because there's nothing to stop them there. They're actually turning this into a trap that started out in a normal offense or normal defense. This is what adjustment looks like in those places. If you're going to run a set strategy, you need to have responses prepared for a lot of different things. They keyed off the fact that when they saw Synrgy Gaming going down the D-line into the 5, they knew Wall Hacks would be in trouble. They got him out of there. Docky checked very quickly to see if the A-line was clear. Given how many tanks come up the 8 line, 8 and A, make sure you can see the differences there, the Alpha line,
Hey.
it was very obvious that Docky would have space, so he went
Really?
there. This is the difference between a good team and a great team, things like that.
Well, here we're watching a great team battle. Jojo Jackie and J Smooth look like they're going to start putting pressure for Synrgy Gaming on this northern cap here. Zakumi popping on the IS-3, taking a shot from Blue Boy's captain, who set up beautifully in that rubble there. We got 3 IS-3s against, we have a 5100 and 12T, 3 IS-3s, another 5100 IS-3 for Synrgy Gaming, all bunched up now. Executives and Pride starting to back off. Looks like just Pride now going down the 7 line there. Let's see what he can do, see what sort of position he's going to flex to. Now, David, how long do you think High Voltage is going to let this cap tick down before they start making the move to reset
They're
it?
already trying to figure out how they want to get in here. I think they're going to have to shove it. What I was praising them for, ended up causing problems. They didn't get enough rotation down the D-line as quickly enough. Now this cap is causing serious pressure. They're going to have to push directly across. They have no other options.
There we go. A shot now going off for Wall Hacks. Battle's going on over the side to Killzor. Takes some shots, trying to get the reset over on the side. Unknown One. And the IS-3 now getting some damage from the 5100 and 2 IS-3s. Let's see who's going to come on top. Tofu getting extremely low. 1 or 2 more shots. That's all he can take. And he will go down on no one. Getting dropped extremely low as well. Heavy 20 pushing in the 5100. Trying to join the team. Bonding is behind, but Flak gonna pick up Tofu Smurf. Heavy 20 should be able to take Flak down. There's the Killzor as well, finding J Smooth. Back-to-back kills. And Heavy 20, another one, taking Unknown One down. Blue Boy's captain has to be careful. He's gonna go down to Takumi, picking up Wall Hacks. It is now a 3-on-4, back and forth kills, but the HP is in huge lead for Synrgy Gaming now at 3,000 against the 2,300 for High Voltage. Heavy 20 gonna respond to Killzor. A nice double team there. Now Heavy 20 deciding to reload quickly as he's assuming that's gonna be his best position. Executives over on the side by the courtyard, fighting against Anfield. Anfield's shot actually connecting. Executives' shot not so much. base capture pressure has been on by Pride. Looks like he's just coming around the corner to try to find a kill. So he has 2 shots in that 5100, followed by JoJo Jackie in that 12T. Let's see what happens. Let's see how much damage. A ram damage coming in over the side. JoJo Jackie getting extremely low. Anfield picking up Executives, now making it a 3-on-2. But the Killzor looks like he's in a bit of a pickle. A shot will take out JoJo Jackie. But Pride, no, it's not enough damage. He now is on reload. The Killzor should be able to pick this one up and end the game. I'm not sure Pride could have enough damage to ram him. He could take some himself. There's a shot going in. 385 on the hill they go. Killzor chasing extremely close by. And this looks like this is going to go to High Voltage. A minute left. High Voltage is on defense. They've got plenty of time. A beautiful pickup here for the defending team.
Shot HE into him.
Going around the corner.
Yeah, well, he's got, I mean, it's a perfect shot. It's just, a lot of people don't bother. He definitely had to have drilled him with HE there. Unless the shot came out of somewhere that I didn't see. But I'm pretty sure that's what happened, and I thought I saw for a split second there, at the beginning of a fire.
Oh.
Docky farming that damage there at the end. Ugh.
Yeah, well, that was...
Stats.
Okay, let's go to stats.
But we'll discuss. There's plenty to discuss in that match, and I'm actually excited to talk about it. But real quick, to kill
Holy mama.
3.6k damage and an IS-3 with 39 defense points, and honestly, some very pivotal
Living the
plays
dream.
overall. Everybody else also doing quite a bit. Tofu stepped up to the corner first, if I remember correctly. So he got kind of annihilated, and that kind of shuts you down. Smooth, 9 for 6. I'm surprised he got 9 out. And just overall, not as great shooting, not as great of a strategy coming out for Synrgy. So there was one thing when I was discussing the fact that that High Voltage is going to have to ball up and push across. Right as they started, and I saw Killzor pulling around the corner, I remembered that their T-37 was dead in a spot that would protect Killzor.
Oh, he moves up.
So really, there was only two things that there's only one plan that High Voltage needed to do, and if they had run it, and it's debatably more risky, depends.
Okay.
If you have any contact down there in the D line from where Synrgy Gaming was,
yeah,
you know there's a tank or two down there, right? Well, if you take everything and funnel it through the B line and Killzor around the corner, that's basically what, 5 tier 8s against whatever is in the 5 line.
So you have a pretty good chance.
So the only problem they had, they needed the reset from Killzor.
Right.
Killzor could be shot from the guys in the 5 line. So they directly counter the 5 line guys to push them out, to allow Killzor the chance to reset.
Man,
it's one of these things where I would need a proper
and you can draw it.
Give me like a weatherman board where I could draw on the wall and everything, and I could show you some crazy stuff what happened in that last match. But that was well executed by High Voltage. I think they could brush it up just a little bit. And this is the thing I was saying when Synrgy just might not have the strategy, but. I believe a match is getting ready to go.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Again, we are on the same side. Let's get right into it and take a look at what we've got for our tanks.
As usual, I get super excited about these things, and I talk too long, so we'll get this done quickly. Synrgy Gaming, 2 5100s, 4 IS-3s, an AMX-12T. High Voltage, 2 5100s, 3 IS-3s, a Borsig, and a T-37. Sadly, when I went back and rewatched chat, not a whole lot of people really weighed in on the Borsig versus
it's
Ryan
called a waffle.
One guy who's been voiced up about a number of times, is like, there's already a waffle. It's like, well, I mean, yeah, it's 3 different tanks all called the waffle, but hey, whatever.
Hey, whatever, guys.
It makes clear sense to him, and I believe he's talking about the W100. Whatever.
Push W for waffle. There you go. Done.
You got to give him the other options, otherwise it doesn't make sense. So, Synrgy Gaming going hardcore on the hill.
There we go.
That is a way of breaking what High Voltage does, kind of, but High Voltage has cleaned up a number of things, and they are the advent or the appearance of that Borsig. It's a very different kind of break that Synrgy Gaming has to do here, and in fact, putting all their tanks in one spot just makes it easier for Killzor to know exactly where he needs to be to get the shots in. So it could be playing into what High Voltage wants, but we'll see exactly how Synrgy executes this. Should be getting spotted right about now.
There we go. Actually, no spots going out at all.
Actually too far back, and Angry Guy wasn't poking the corner.
Now looking real quickly here, the Killzor spot. He looks like he's in a nice little garage here, kind of set up in this waffle or whatever you want to call it.
Yes.
With Blue Boys Captain and Wallhags. That looks like a pretty dangerous little position to be in.
Yes. So it's just a little place where you can fit a tank in. You can't go all the way through, unfortunately. So you can't get into that city square and just disappear. But it is a place that a lot of people used to put T1s and stuff like that, or people back into in pub matches when they're dying. They
Just
can go in there.
kind of
It's
hunker
a
down.
nice little last stand location. Angry Guy is about to find out he's got company.
That's right. Cap pressure now already being applied. 2 members for the Northern Cap down to 45 seconds on no one. And JoJo Jackie shots going in. Taking Zakumi now. Let's see how High Voltage responds to this. We have 5 members of Synrgy Gaming all bunched up on this corner with Pride and J-Smooth and those 5100s backing up. Now, David, where they're at, I mean, obviously anyone who comes over for High Voltage on the side is going to get lit up either way. Angry Guy being the first one to respond to that 300 damage and that T-37 getting dropped down to below half. And now, what can High Voltage do? I mean, they got to pop out and get some resets, but the moment they do, they should get lit up. It's now down to 20 seconds here.
Basically, they need to screen enough for the Killzor. It looks like he's got the 15 centimeters, so he's got the big gun. If he can drop an HE shell in there, it can cause some serious havoc.
Here we go. Let's see how they do. Woltage coming out of the corner. He's the first one to get focused. 1,200 damage. One more shot. He'll go down, but there's the reset. Going through. A lot of damage on 1,400. Getting extremely low. Just 17 health. Blue Boys captain picking that one up. And now Tanks going back and forth. The shots going through. J-Smooth coming off the hill. Trying to chase down and try to get in the spot as soon as he can. Heavy 20 getting dropped to a little below half. 757 is 5,100. Has decided to put the reload on J-Smooth. Picking that one up a couple more shots. He's got to find some safety there. Blue Boys captain. More damage. And Tofu's finding another pickup. But Pride going to respond by taking Tofu down in that IS-3. Zakumi and Flak though extremely low. Angry Guy getting a shot into JoJo Jackie in that 12T. And now J-Smooth remaining the last 3 of his shots to Killzor. A beautiful shot there. And now Angry Guy should be able to pick up J-Smooth. But J-Smooth taking down JoJo Jackie. There's the shot. Angry Guy now just 4 tanks. 3 tanks for Synrgy Gaming. An explosive battle happening here on the northern quarter of this northern cap. Black, Zakumi, and Pride, the only ones that remain. Pride still on a long reload. Black and Zakumi ready to go, but Zakumi just 1 more shot. And build the kills or wall hacks. The kills are taking the other shot out. 792 or 29 points. Heavy 20 picking up Black. Pride going down to Heavy 20 as well. And now it is just Zakumi. Let's see if Heavy 20 can get a triple kill. Ladies and gentlemen, no! He misses the shot, but so does Anfield. He might be able to. He misses the second shot. The Killzor misses as well. It's going to be, no one can kill him. Zakumi finally goes down. Wall hacks picking that one up, and High Voltage now taking a 4th victory there against Synrgy Gaming onto Himmelsdorf.
So, I mean, the viewers couldn't see, obviously, because we were in the middle of that battle. But as soon as I saw High Voltage step into that corner and I saw the Borsig fire for the first time, my jaw hit the floor. It was just something like,
Done.
oh, what just happened? It'd take a second to actually go through and look to see exactly how much he did.
Okay.
Let's go to statistics, because I think everybody wants to know exactly how much Doc he got in there.
Man.
And it's enough. It's enough. 5 shots, 4 hits, 3 penetrations for a grand total of 23, 29. Gross. That is
crispy
quite
waffle
a bit.
right there.
Zakumi leading off the rest of his team with a perfect 6. And then everybody else. Also, everybody's shooting very well in that match. It's still okay. Pride didn't. And yeah, I don't know exactly what. It's a weird corner battle for a 5100, honestly. So if he didn't get in there before J-Smooth then he's got a fully loaded Borsig to worry about. And
that's no bueno.
No, it's not. Not at all where you want to be in your own head with all that going on. Angry Guy, worth a shout out for 552. We'll highlight a little bit more about that, actually. So, a corner battle that went in High Voltage's favor.
Ooh.
Perhaps a makeup match for what happened there on Lakeville. He was coming into our house now.
Like, yeah,
and
you're
we
in our
brought a
town.
Borsig. So, Angry Guy doing very well there at the end. So, there was a moment where still either team could win. Their 5100s are reloading. A lot of people are damaged.
Okay.
High Voltage has a slight advantage. And it's worth noting, Synrgy just took a timeout. High Voltage had a slight advantage, but it could fall apart.
Okay.
Angry Guy made all the difference. And he had to. And I was
And
sitting here thinking
T-37.
in my head, thinking in my head is like, if Angry Guy dies right now, then this match could go to anybody. But if he stays alive and he plays right, he plays well, he is the one big problem that forces Synrgy to keep moving and to go into all the guns from High Voltage.
Oh, okay.
High Voltage doesn't need to split it all to handle what's going on. They can keep all their tier 8s there, just let Angry Guy troll. And Angry Guy, even though it's a small amount of damage, you can't ignore it. So as soon as a gun turns or somebody fires at him, High
They're
Voltage
gonna
can
pop around the corner.
bring the pain onto you.
Right.
So Angry Guy was everything there. He cleaned up a 5100. His existence allowed for everything else to happen.
Wow.
Synrgy knew it. They didn't want to give Angry enough time to come back for it because it doesn't matter. Like I said, unless Angry Guy just stepped in front of somebody and he got rammed. Unless that was pretty much it. So Synrgy knew it. They stepped to the plate, tried to get it done anyways. Didn't work out for them in the long run.
No, not at all. Now, was that waffle? Was the Borsig the deciding factor, you think, of that corner battle there for the side of High Voltage?
Yeah, I would say
That
so.
made it.
I mean, he annihilated that whole corner in his first shot.
Sure.
Somebody in there took 1,000 damage, and I don't know if that was the Borsig connecting for that much, or if it was a cumulative amount of
Right.
damage because we can't really see the breakdown if everybody gets hit multiple
It
times
just
at once.
adds up.
Judging by what I saw and the overall end number, I think he probably hit him for like 800
Wow.
or so. Still, I mean, it's a huge amount. And that
Massive
reset
amount
was
of damage.
clutch. I don't know if it was an HG shot. I don't think it was. Didn't look like it. He
Okay.
probably would have had to load it ahead of time to go into there. But we've seen Ducky change his ammo when necessary.
Yep.
So
We just saw it.
it's a tricky debate on that one.
Absolutely. Well, again, a nice pickup there for High Voltage. We're now into the next battle, ladies and gentlemen. High Voltage just needs one more to close it out. Let's see if they can do it, or if Synrgy Gaming can come back. Let's get right into it and take a look at what we've got for our tanks.
Synrgy Gaming with two 5100s, 3 IS3s, a T32, and a T37. They're on defense now. Keep that in mind. High Voltage with one 5100, 3 IS3s, a T32, a T54 lightweight, and an AMX 12T. I've been waiting for somebody to break out a lightweight on this map. It has some disadvantages
Okay.
in the sense that it's alpha, just isn't exactly what you would think about on a city map. And for those of you who don't know, alpha is how much damage you do pretty much in one shot. You know, your alpha damage, your initial salvo. It's one of the big strengths of the IS-3. 4 of those shooting one tank at the same time pretty much kills any tank at tier 8, assuming they all penetrate. So, changing up the 54 lightweight, it's interesting. It gets a little bit more mobility. They lose about 250 hit points, lose roughly 100 damage off the alpha off the average damage, and thus the alpha of what they would have with an IS-3.
Okay.
But if it ever worked out where, say, just in the middle of the courtyard, a 54 went head-to-head with an IS-3 in isolation, the 54 can actually out-DPM the IS-3. And if he plays well enough, he should kill an IS-3. IS-3 a little bit vulnerable to its lighter counterpart in that instance. You get circle strafed in the open. Where an IS-3 would shine is in more of a corner situation where it can shoot the 54 coming in, back up, turn its armor to it. Don't let the 54 get around it.
Sure.
Stop talking about tanks overall. Look at a little bit of positioning going on here. Zakumi locking down the entire G line from a hold down position, one we've seen a number of times before.
Yep.
It's a great one. It's a little bit vulnerable to certain things.
Oh. Maybe
But
20 with a nice
it's-
little snipe shot there on top of the hill.
Yeah, it's still a very nice tank no matter what. Flak took that shot. It's an interesting angle that Heavy 20 has where you can fire into the cap area where Flak was.
Okay.
I would show you, but it looks like Heavy 20 just left, so that's no longer an option. Zakumi spotting down the G line, seeing only two tanks out of the 3 that are there for High Voltage, but that's enough. It's enough for him to know the overall general idea. Still kind of curious. I guess Zakumi had to back up just so I didn't see wall hacks. But what we're seeing from High Voltage is a very, very standard look. They're going to move up the 8 line, up the 0 line, come into that trap area in the B6 corner that we've seen 100 times, and Blue Boys is going to be what makes or breaks this match, provided everyone else plays the way they're supposed to.
Okay.
Looks like Tofu Smurf. I'm wondering what the point of the T32 is, although I think we're seeing it right now. I think right here, he's a little bit hull down, so he can fire down the B line, which actually protects the cap that Dekillzor is going to right now, the corner of the cap that Dekillzor is going to right now. You should be able to see the T32. We got shot by the other T32, straight down the B line. While it is a hull down spot, it's not a great one. I think you actually have to back up the road to use it correctly.
Okay.
Whatever we can't. Not seeing it on camera. 3 IS-3s popping into the corner there. We're getting another shot on Flak. That could be pretty critical. But again, Blue Boys is where it is
Making or
at
breaking.
right now.
Right.
His tank, he has to get a proper flank in. He has to get the right kind of intel. That is a huge problem.
Oh, that is not what you want to see happen. In that T4, 4 shots going out. Beautiful focus fire for Synrgy Gaming. One more shot. He should go down. Let's see who's going to pick it up, or if he can make it to safety to the rest of his team. Zakumi lining the shot up, missing the shot actually. Now he's got to do, he runs into the wall, not Hopefully what he was planning. Trying back in to find some cover on no one. Cover in the corner, run with pride. Let's even get in just in time. He does. And now the cap pressure is going higher and higher for High Voltage, down to 27 seconds. No, more damage going to Woltage in the city. Across the courtyard, Takumi lining up. He picks up the shot. And now the battle going over the side. High Voltage getting dropped extremely low. Wallhacks and the kills are both 1 or 2 more shots away. Wallhacks is going to pick up flak, but ejected. Heavy 20 here. Heavy 20 though might be able to do some work here. Jojo Jackie against the Killzor, and Jojo Jackie is on the reload. The Killzor might and should actually be able to pick this up with the help of Heavy 20 and Wallhacks. Heavy 20 picking up Executives, and now turning over to Jojo Jackie. Let's see how many more shots can go in there. Pride and Jace would come around the corner. Zakumi fighting off against Tofu Smurf. Angry Guy applying pressure all this time, making Synrgy Gaming have to come to them now. Heavy 20 backing up as he is on reload. A shot going on for Jay Smooth into the corner. Pride in the corner. Points to 200, and Jay Smooth picking up Wallhacks from the back. A nice pickup there. And now here comes the push for the rest of the tanks. Let's see how long that High Voltage can stop them. Pride picking up the kills, or Heavy 20 still on the reload. That is not a good position to be. He goes down to Jay Smooth. It is now just Anfield and Heavy 20. 13 seconds. Tofu Smurf in the T32. Anfield picking up Pride. Now 20 more seconds as Jay Smooth and no one get the reset. If Jay Smooth lets this fly, he does. He picks up Anfield. And now up to 36 seconds on no one. Knows exactly where Angry Guy is, and they should be able to go over and clean this one up relatively easy. Angry Guy getting rammed both by Jay Smooth and Unknown One over the corner. Tofu against Zakumi in that IS-3. Angry Guy doing as much damage as he possibly can before he goes down to Unknown One, and Takumi picking up Angry Smurf. Synrgy Gaming holding it on just barely against High Voltage there.
Wow.
That was a close, explosive fight. Now, we talked about, really, David, I mean, if you want to go to stats first, that's great, but looking at Blue Boy's captain's positioning, how he might have been the one to, make or break that entire battle. And right as you said it, the Nagaton curse, ladies and gentlemen, he gets shot, he gets exploded. Now, what was he supposed to do? What was his main goal with the flank?
He needed to come in to flank the flank, I believe is what they had him there for strategy.
Okay.
Now, High Voltage taking a timeout. They are 1 away from either tying it up
Right,
and
or
going
winning.
to a very terrible tiebreaker where they need the points. They have to get
This
at least
win.
a tiebreaker win in this match
Okay.
and win the rest of their matches
To get first, right?
to get first over Refuse.
Oh, this
assuming
is
Refuse
huge.
wins all of theirs. They still have to play Elevate. So this isn't the match they want to be going to tiebreaker right now.
Sure.
They can afford a tiebreaker loss out of the whole thing, and then they will tie Refuse, assuming Refuse wins everything else.
But they want to win.
We'll focus on the match at hand.
Right.
Yeah, everybody wants to win.
Right.
So not a whole lot in stats. It's all very spread out. Anfield taking the most for High Voltage. Zakumi stepping up to the plate, doing the most. For Synrgy,
Wow.
I've always known him to be a good player, a sacrifice player, but he's typically not the one who gets the most damage. Apparently, High Voltage, he's just got High
He's just
Voltage's
in a different
number
tank.
a little bit.
Yeah.
Anyways, Blue Boys is flank in the 54. I believe that's what they're using him for. It's either an exploratory thing, or say we see that normal move where Synrgy perhaps comes across the D line or into the courtyard. Well, if Blue Boys is all the way down there in the K line and he swings around behind him, that's a problem.
Okay.
He can snipe them from behind.
Okay.
And they have to push into a ready and waiting High Voltage. Essentially, putting on cap pressure and then barricading themselves makes High Voltage more of the defending team in that instance.
Gotcha.
Because it's on Synrgy to come to them.
Right.
Synrgy playing that way ahead of time, flanking all the way down by the G line, having very well recessed positions, and Jojo Jackie doing a great job. And the number of IS-3 is firing up the 5 line. Just a lot of very well rehearsed angles, good timing. High Voltage getting pushed around. After losing Blue Boys, they had to absolutely go blitz across the top. They took too much hit points doing it. They were very close to delaying long enough to give Ant enough time, or Angry Guy enough time to cap, and it just
Didn't work out for
didn't
him.
come all together.
Right.
Synrgy playing a much better cohesive game, and High Voltage making some mistakes.
Absolutely. Now one thing that we talk about in this 754 format is how important and how much priority teams are putting on the caps, on the bases. And we've seen that a lot in this match. We've seen a very either quick cap, like you said, Synrgy coming out making it an elegant cap, or right here what High Voltage would have been doing. They're trying to buy some time to get those cap pressures off. Do you think this is something we're going to keep seeing more and more? Less about the brawls and more just about the caps?
Well, so the cap is mostly a tool to create a brawl in the area that you want, or the other way around. You create a brawl to distract so you can cap.
Right.
So they're always interconnected, and they're always both very important. What I haven't seen so much of is the creation of a brawl to open up the cap view to cap, like Synrgy's been doing. What High Voltage was trying for there is much more normal.
All right, well, let's see, ladies and gentlemen, as we're into our next battle. Again, High Voltage just needing one more to win. Synrgy Gaming needed one more to tie it up. Let's get right into it and take a look at what we've got. All right, tanks.
Synrgy Gaming with two 5100s, three IS3s, a T32 and a T37. High Voltage with two 5100s, three IS3s, a T32 and an AMX-12T.
All right, here. Now, looking at the kind of the lineups of both of these sides, do you think High Voltage is going to go for a similar strategy as last time?
They could, yeah, I mean, essentially, it's not going to be the exact same because they put Blue back in a 5100.
Yep.
I almost wonder if he readied up the 54 lightweight on accident.
Really?
But
that would be interesting.
well, there's a timing thing where if you don't ready up in time, you just don't get to play.
Gotcha.
So
Oh, gotta click it.
So it is possible, but I honestly think they were probably giving a test to the 54 lightweight on this map, trying something they perhaps have rehearsed a little bit, and it just didn't work out. They're like, you know what? Let's not mess with it.
Don't do it.
It's probably a one-off strat anyways, so it is what it is. What I find really interesting here is Synrgy is running a very old strategy, essentially. A very classic way of cleaning out the 1-2 area, buying entire Western control, which used to be incredibly important. It still is important. And High Voltage almost predictably biasing themselves a little bit more to the west.
Yeah.
But with their lineup, with how they're doing it, with Tofu and Heavy 20 on the hill, they could distract west, cap east, and rotate through like the J line to the 3 or 4 or 5 line. So what I'm trying to say here is they could put on or establish a presence there in the west, and then drag all of Synrgy over to that area, and then push themselves up into the northeast. So Synrgy has to come back from their established, or has to assault the same cap we saw last time from less established positions.
Oh, that might work.
However, it's also possible that High Voltage will just abandon what they're doing right now and go on to a more resolute western cap.
Okay.
I'd be very interested if they left Tofu Smurf up there, what they would be attempting here. But still missing Ox Mathis all day today. I wonder if he can't play, or if they wanted to put Tofu in for this match against Simple Tankers, or what exactly the reasoning behind that is. We'll have to ask him next time we see him in the face-off.
Absolutely. Now, Black, I believe, spotted out both Heavy 20 and Tofu Smurf, the T32 and the 5100 there as he was kind of scouting. He pushed very far up the hill, actually. He got right to the C0 line right before you kind of get to the top, and then had to race down and back off. Why do you think High Voltage, I mean, they both, the two members saw them, why do you think they didn't just kind of push over and take them out there?
Go ahead and ask the question again.
So Heavy 20 and I believe it was Tofu Smurf were on top of the hill. Flak came up, spotted both of them, and they also spotted Flak. And Flak was extremely high up. He was about at the B0 line right before, or the C0 right before it kind of cusps there. Why do you think that Heavy 20 and Tofu didn't just kind of push over and take him out quickly?
He could have a lot of reinforcements, which would make that a big problem. Meanwhile,
Gotcha.
they're doing exactly the same thing, just in a slightly slower fashion, with Angry Guy coming in to try and pick up Flak, and Tofu coming down to kind of bottle that in.
There we
It
go.
looks like while they are performing a little bit of an eastern presence, it's working the other way around from what I was talking. Now they're pushing hard west for the remainder of their tier 8s.
Here we go. Wallhack taking a good chunk of damage, 791 in that IS-3. Beautiful focus fire coming out there from Executives, Unknown One, and Pride here. But now J-Smooth in his 5100. Looks like he's going to be the next focus. Heavy 20 taking a lot of damage. Well, J-Smooth going down. Heavy 20 picking that one up. Now the first tank falling on the side of Synrgy Gaming. Anfield starting to put that pressure on, taking 419 points of damage there in that IS-3. The base cap pressure just with one tank is at 94 seconds, but here we go, a double cap pressure going on. Tofu Smurf and Angry Guy against Executives, and now Synrgy Gaming trying to find, I guess, some sort of overmatch while they can before they get picked down too low. Pride, though, getting dropped extremely low, 292 chunks of damage, another going into his IS-3, and here comes the response. Synrgy Gaming coming over the side, and no one saving a shot for the Killzor. There it is, some more damage, but now he's in some trouble. Anfield lining a shot up as Akumi and Jojo Jackie come around the corner. Blue Boys captain getting on cap as well to put some more pressure on, dropping the cap down to 18 seconds, and Angry Guy and Tofu Smurf going up on top against the other member of Synrgy Gaming. Flag coming to join him. Let's see who comes out on top here. More shots going back and forth across both of these positions. Caps now down to 29 seconds, and now 64. As resets come through, Heavy 20 coming around the side, picking up Pride. Executives should be going down also in the bottom left hand of your screen there, but no, Flack picks up Tofu's Smoke in that T-32 before it happens to Killzor. Fighting in the one JoJo Jacket going down to Blue Boy's captain. And now it is a 6 on 2. Flack versus, so Flack going down Zakumi versus Angry Guy and versus the rest of High Voltage and Executives versus Angry Guy. So many battles going on, so many parts of the map here. And Bill picking up Zakumi, Executives with Angry Guy going down, and that'll be the 5th and final victory for High Voltage there, going against Synrgy. And that was, I mean, that's exactly what you're talking about. It just happened in reverse.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Which it made a lot more sense, I think, than what I was talking about. In particular, due to the fact that High Voltage has done exactly what I was talking about before. So flipping it around and doing it this way, very nice. Plus, I think they also knew where J-Smooth was, which is a very sketchy position. We've talked about that in the past, actually, about how you can just put 5100s down there. They can't be rendered all the way from the top. Another situation we probably need the map to draw. But J-Smooth's position, very easy to isolate, very easy kill. And from there, all in High Voltage's favor. 12T and a 32 versus a 32 and later a T37 in the north. That was just a whole crazy dynamic fight that we could have casted all on its own.
Great.
And it still would have been entertaining. Before I end this whole discussion, Heavy 20 leading off for High Voltage there, and Executus taking up the most for Synrgy. Not a whole lot of other stats really worth highlighting. Probably some good defensive resets, but not enough time to go through it.
That's right, but a congratulations victory going to High Voltage there against Synrgy Gaming, ladies and gentlemen. That is the first match of the night.